This week ended up a little bit different than expected, but better late than never, right? I'm sure you heard about a third major hurricane hitting Florida in a very short time. First Debbie, that left me underwater, then Hurricane Helene, that took down one of my buildings, and now Hurricane Milton, that, almost wiped me out. This was actually the first hurricane that I was under mandatory evacuation orders because the eye was supposed to go straight through my property. And it came by very close, if not over it. Just returned from my evacuation and I'm gonna go around and see what's still alive and what was still have. A lot of the neighborhood looks pretty devastating. Fences are down, a lot of things have blown away, everything is full of debris. There's no electricity, obviously, no food, no water, no gas. But let's see what survived on my property, right? Follow me and lessons
There's dirt
unlearned.
on my hands, strong like a tree. There's roots where I stand.
There is debris everywhere. The egg chair posts are still standing. Of course, I did take the egg chairs down to protect them with the cushions. I also took down the hammock. Everything survived. The fireplace is still here. Remember that storage box I built recently? Well, this survived as well. It's still here. Whew, it still looks great. Some circulation on the bottom. No issue with that. My compost bins are still here as well. No damage to them, of course. I mean, they're insanely dirty with having debris piled up on them. But other than that, it looks great. Bunch of debris all over here. And then the bees. So the bees have survived. That was like my major concern, that the bees will not survive, but they're still here and I'm so happy about it. I'm sure they're very disturbed right now. So to keep them down, I put some cinder blocks on top. I did not have any straps to strap them down. I would have done that rather. But the cinder blocks did their job, so I'm very happy about. Especially knowing that this area here usually turns into a wind tunnel, and it did so through the hurricane. You can tell on the trees. But yeah, it survived. A wood storage pile that blew over. I mean, that's obviously, you just lift it back up. No big issue. One tree came down here. But it appears that the shower itself didn't take any damage. Looks like it's still standing. So all I gotta do is cut off this whole tree that's leaning on it. The fences in the neighborhood are completely down and destroyed. I don't think I took too much damage. One of the doors came loose, even though I did pin them down with cinder blocks. It just moved the cinder block over and obviously destroyed the door here. That's the left side gate. It should be an easy fix though. I think I only have to replace 2 2x4s and then reattach the boards. I think I have most of the boards still on the property. I have to go around and see if I find some more. One is still missing. The trellis came loose, it fell over, and the gate itself leaned in. Now I have to say, the reported winds were between 90 and 120 miles an hour, and the hurricane only moved with about 50 miles an hour forward. So probably those wind strength of 90 miles plus an hour was here for probably an hour or so. So for that the gate is still somewhat standing, I'm very impressed. I think I'm just gonna push it over, put some more cement in the hole and hope that will fix it. It was kind of obvious that the fence might not survive if you think about it. Most fences, they do have at least one piece that comes up at a 90 degree, almost as a brace. This one didn't have it yet because the pond, as you see, that's right here, was supposed to be filled in and then the fence was supposed to be extended. So I never finished the fence and it never had that brace on the back to hold it up if there should be any strong winds. So it was kind of my fault that it happened. I will do better. I'm probably gonna put a brace up.
Let's continue this tour to check out the lower part of the property. This is also where I store my tools and my garden is. You can see there's still some standing water in the storage shed. It's not very high anymore, which means it's draining fast. The water lines in the building give away that the water was at some point approximately 12 inches. So not too bad, especially compared to Hurricane Debbie. I was completely flooded. The water was hip high. So all of my tools survived. Let's check out the garden. This is the garden enclosure I built a while back with the arch. As you can see, it's still standing. Well, I got so many comments back then that there is no way that especially the arch will make it through the hurricane. Well, direct hit hurricane and it's still standing. And that solar light is actually part of the shed we were in previously, so I'm gonna take that back there later. You can tell that the whole garden must have been flooded at some point, but the water, as I said, it's quickly draining. There's still a bunch of water to the end that's standing that didn't have a chance to drain just yet. But I hope this will be gone very soon as well. Of course, most of the vegetables did not make it, but there are still some plants that are left. The good part about it is there's still enough time to plant some more seeds to still have vegetables towards the end of the year, before the frost comes. It's very strange how the bubbles come through the mulch while I'm walking on it. It feels very weird, like I'm walking on some kind of cotton. It's very soft, cushiony feel with all the water in the mulch. While the gazebo is still standing, the shade cloth did not make it. And again, it was really my fault. I meant to take it off before I left, but then I totally forgot about it. There's just no way that a shade cloth will ever make it through a hurricane. So that one needs to be replaced. And apparently some wasps moved in as well. That's a pretty big hive already. I'm gonna have to remove that. The metal bar that held the shade cloth up bent. All of the bigger plants, of course, are bent over. The papaya tree did not make it. I find random things at random places. And oh, unfortunately, this was my banana tree. It was actually a very beautiful tree, and yeah, not sure if that's gonna come back to life. Let's hope for the best. Most of the banana trees took a lot of damage. And here's probably the biggest tree that fell. That's the monkey pot tree, or also called the elephant ear tree. And as you can see, it is not a hurricane-safe tree. I actually have 3 of those on my property, and all 3 got unrooted. This one was the biggest one, and it hit part of my building. Fortunately, it's just a corner, so the damage is not too big, and it can be easily fixed. It is gonna take me a minute to actually cut down this tree so I can move it. But just as a memory, I will sure keep some of the wood and make something out of it.
Oh, my llama was undamaged. I'm so happy. It survived. Yay. So happy about it. And that concludes the tour. I'm gonna go and clean this all up and try to figure out how to rebuild this gate. The hardware looks really good. That's gonna be my first thing, rebuilding that gate, so I get my privacy back. Well, thanks for following along, and see you next week. Tschüss!
And the cleanup efforts have begun. Follow along for more on my Patreon. Just click on the My Socials link in the details below for more. See you there. Tschüss! So much fun!